All right, Chad has been pestering me about some CR interview. Uh, oh, this is Beacon. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Okay. So it looks like Tarada's at Beacon and he has an interview with his biggest fan, Chris Roberts. It's like 2 minutes. Okay. Chris loves Tarada. And then what is Jared standing here for? He looks like security. What's going on?
Yeah, I think we'll have a limited version of Dynamic this year. So.
Ok, on aura peut-être une version dynamique de la version du serveur machine.
C'est incroyable. It's already kind of dynamic because if you think about when you do the server crash recovery, and the game goes down, we're actually spinning up a new server and moving everyone to it. So that's all.
It's already kind of dynamic. Okay. I'm going to move myself, I guess, to the other side so you can see Chris's face. And whether or not you decide to believe any word he says, you can at least look him in the eye.
You were actually going dynamic moving from one server to another.
En fait, le fait qu'il y ait le serveur recovery, c'est déjà pas mal par rapport au serveur machine. Oui, c'est déjà la base de la base du truc. Et maintenant, ils ont juste à travailler sur ça pour permettre d'avoir le serveur dynamique.
So really, the difficulty is just having a program that looks at everybody and goes, oh, I need another server or two here because there's too many people.
Ah, ils ont besoin d'alléger un peu le niveau du serveur.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem that far away. Let me lower the music a little bit. It's too loud. It seems theoretically possible. I'm just kind of memeing.
Merci. It's great. Thanks for all your content, by the way.
Yes, thank you for the preparation of the server.
Okay, so that was it. So the big takeaway here is that they think that they're going to get dynamic server meshing by what did he say? Did he say by the end of the year?
Yeah, I think we'll have a limited version of dynamic this year. So.
This year, okay, that's interesting. That's actually kind of surprising and is worth talking about. Also, find somebody that looks at you like Jared looks at Chris. You really need to find that in your life. It's important. But it seems theoretically possible. But what I will say about that is that I won't believe much because my experiences on the Master Modes test or not Master Modes test, the server meshing test was a little iffy. But I'll kind of believe whenever we get the next server meshing test to see sort of what they fixed, how much smoother it is, how much better it works, all sorts of things like that. And I kind of understand what he's saying. Like, it sort of is dynamic already. When one goes down, another one spools up. So it kind of is smart in that way already. But we also saw that once they hit the larger concurrency, everything fell apart. So if we see dynamic server meshing, or if we see any of these things this year, does he mean on live? Number one, does he mean just in a test? Right? We had technically Pyro released. Do we have it? Are we jumping to it right now? No, right? So what he means by that is hard to tell. And then there's also the idea of the scale. How many players, right? How many players in a shard? Because once we hit above 200, it was pretty much a dumpster fire, right? So maybe through all the things that they hardened around replication layer, I think replication layer, I never even saw it try to work. So the 323 is pretty hardened in that way, has its issues, but as far as stability, not too many issues, right? So depending on what they've learned so far through 323 and replication layer and what they need to do for server meshing, it might be smooth, it might not be. It just comes down to whatever happens in the next test is the most important thing that has ever happened to Star Citizen ever. The current max player count is 100. Yes. It's the most important thing that's ever happened to Star Citizen. The last server meshing test was the most important thing. This patch is not as important to me as the last test. And it is not as important to me as the next test. Will I be playing 323 if it drops today? You'll see me play it tomorrow morning. We'll check out whatever's in there tomorrow morning. See whatever bug fixes, things like that. We're getting cargo in what appears to be a 323.2. So those are really big patches too. But in terms of server meshing and when we're getting it, that is an interesting little tidbit. Tarada and the French guys, they're awesome, and they get a lot of access to CIG. And when they do, they ask the right questions, and I appreciate them for that. So thank you to you guys for being stewards of this community, the French community, but specifically Tarada and others. I think Fran and somebody else. They are Hugo, like they are legends, and we would be much worse without them. So I appreciate them. But yeah, little bit of news there, but it's not small news at all. It's big. They want to test dynamic. If they want to test dynamic now, it's not 12 years away. Most likely. I mean, this is Star Citizen, but that's what that means. It's kind of crazy.